What I love about Eala, the mentality is like Rafa, never say die, from start to finish, gets the job done, finds a way.
There's a horizontal line buried in a spreadsheet somewhere inside the United States Tennis Association's operations office, and it sits at position 32. Everyone above that line is a seed at this year's U.S. Open. Everyone below it isn't. For the entire 58-year history of the Open era at Flushing Meadows, no Filipino player, man or woman, has ever had their name sit above that line. Not once. This is a story of how Alex Eala is closing in on becoming the first Filipino ever seeded at the U.S. Open, currently sitting in the world's top 32 in the summer of her 21st year. As of this year, Eala is ranked world number 32, with a career high of number 29 reached back in March. Whether she holds inside the seeding cutoff when the U.S. Open field is set roughly 6 weeks before play begins is genuinely still up in the air, and that's the honest, unresolved part of this story, not a foregone conclusion. To understand what that line means, you have to go back to August 2024, on those same grounds in Queens, where Eala played the final round of U.S. Open qualifying and lost, one match short of her first Grand Slam main draw appearance as a professional. She flew home from New York without a point to show for the trip. 2 years later, she isn't fighting to get into the tournament. She's fighting to protect a ranking that would put her among the seeded players. Nothing about that is guaranteed. The seeding list won't be finalized until roughly 6 weeks before the tournament starts, and that window falls right in the middle of 2 stacked summer hardcourt events: the DC Open in late July and the National Bank Open in Toronto in early August. Both fields are loaded with top-tier competition, and several players are clustered within just a few ranking spots of Eala. Any one of them is a good week away from bumping her back down. So the honest framing is this: Eala isn't hoping to sneak in. She's holding a lead. And a lead in the rankings, like a lead in a match, is real but not the trophy. She has to protect it. What makes that protection plausible is that she has relatively little ranking points to defend this summer, since her results in these same events last year were modest, meaning the downside is limited while the upside from a strong run is real. Structural. Eala entered 2026 climbing steadily, reaching her career-high ranking of world number 29 in March, following a strong run at Indian Wells. Her clay season was uneven, early losses in Madrid, Rome, and Paris, but she never fell out of the top 50. Once the grass swing began, she turned it around. She won the Birmingham Open, a WTA 125 title, in early June, then reached the semifinals in Berlin, beating 2 top 10 opponents along the way. That run pushed her back into the world's top 30 and made her the 29th seed at Wimbledon this year, the first time any Filipino singles player has ever been seeded at a Grand Slam. The U.S. Open projection isn't a leap. It's a continuation of a line she already crossed once on grass, weeks earlier. Trajectory. The clearest data point came on Wimbledon center court in the 3rd round, when Eala faced defending champion and world number 3 IGA Swiatek. The first set alone ran 90 minutes and went to a tiebreak, which Eala won. Swiatek later told reporters that Eala's unusual serve rhythm was genuinely difficult to time. The second set moved much faster, and Eala closed out to advance to the 4th round of major for the first time in her career, the deepest run any Filipino singles player has made at a Grand Slam. She lost the following round to 13-seed Jasmine Paolini in 3 sets, but the takeaway from the Swiatek match isn't the trophy she didn't win. It's what it proved. When a number 29 beats the world number 3 at a major, the ranking stops being a ceiling and starts looking like a floor. Geography. This is where the story stops being about a spreadsheet. The USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing has quietly become the site of nearly every major chapter in Eala's career. In September 2022, on those same grounds, she won the U.S. Open Girls singles title as a teenager, the first Filipino to win any junior Grand Slam. In August 2024, on the same grounds, she lost in qualifying and went home. In August 2025, she made her first Grand Slam main draw appearance as a professional and won a first-round match, becoming the first Filipino player to win a main draw match at a major in the Open era. If her ranking holds through August 2026, she'll walk back onto that same property as its first ever seeded Filipino competitor. For August 1 court, not a coincidence anyone designed, just a career writing itself into a location. Because of what's riding on this, it's worth noting who's been saying out loud. Former U.S. Open finalist and ex-world number 4 Greg Rusedski, calling the Swiatek match from the center court commentary box, said afterward that Eala has a game to win a Wimbledon title one day and potentially crack the top 5 in the world, praising her competitive mentality and tennis IQ. Pam Shriver, a 22-time Grand Slam doubles champion and herself a U.S. Open finalist, said on the same broadcast that the first set was one of the most extraordinary sets of tennis she'd watched in a long time. 2 former U.S. Open finalists on the record in the same week, describing the same player as a legitimate top 5 prospect. That's not hype language. From people whose credentials on that specific court are the ones that count. It reads as a technical read on where her game is heading. In the pre-Open era, only one Filipino player left a real mark at the Grand Slams. Felicissimo Ampon, who stood barely 5 feet tall and reached the quarterfinals of the French championships in both 1952 and 1953. He's widely considered the greatest Filipino tennis player of his generation, but he played before the Open era began in 1968 and before modern seeding conventions existed. From 1968 until this year, no Filipino player, man or woman, has ever been a seeded singles competitor at a major. Wimbledon 2026 was the first crack in that ceiling. The U.S. Open in 2026, if the ranking holds, would be the second and would land on exact court where the story started, where it stumbled and where it turned around. After the Swiatek win, Eala got emotional in her on-court interview, telling the crowd how much the moment meant given where she came from, training after school in the Philippines with her brother and grandfather, in scuffed-up shoes on a court in Quezon City, and thanking the Filipino fans who'd shown up with flags in the stands. It's the kind of detail that turns a ranking milestone into something more personal, a seed line built out of a specific childhood, not just a spreadsheet. None of this happened overnight, and it's worth laying out the fuller arc, because the speed of it is part of what makes the U.S. Open projection plausible rather than fanciful. Eala started on the ITF Junior Circuit at 14, grinding through qualifying draws in places like Chiang Rai and Hua Hin. By 2021, she was playing her first tour-level qualifying matches. In 2022, she broke through as a junior, reaching a world number 2 junior ranking and becoming the first Filipino to win a major junior title when she took the girls singles crown at the U.S. Open. She was 17. The pro transition wasn't instant. Through 2023 and into 2024, she worked her way up through ITF titles and WTA qualifying rounds, cracking the world's top 150 for the first time and slowly building a resume of main draw appearances at tour-level events. The 2024 U.S. Open qualifying loss that opens this story sat right in the middle of that grind, a reminder that her rise wasn't a straight line. 2025 was the season that changed the trajectory. As a wild card at the Miami Open, a WTA 1000 event, Eala pulled off back-to-back wins over 2 top 10 players, then became the first player from the Philippines to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal, and in the same run, entered the world's top 100 for the first time. Later that year, she reached her first tour-level final at Eastbourne, then won her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara. She closed 2025 with a career-high year-end ranking of world number 50, a number that would have sounded improbable to her a year earlier. 2026 picked up where that momentum left off. She opened the season with semi-final runs in both singles and doubles at the Auckland Open, then reached the quarterfinals of the inaugural WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open as a wild card on home soil. Results across the Middle East swing were mixed but solid. A quarterfinal in Abu Dhabi, a run to the quarterfinals in Dubai where she beat a top 10 opponent along the way. Then came Indian Wells, where a run to the 4th round pushed her to a career-high ranking of world number 29 in March, officially making her the highest-ranked Filipino in WTA Tour history. She backed it up with another 4th-round finish at the Miami Open weeks later. The clay swing that followed was rougher. Early exits in Madrid, Rome, and at Roland Garros, plus a modest showing in Strasbourg and Stuttgart. It's the kind of stretch that could have stalled the whole story. Instead, the grass season reset everything. The Birmingham title, the Berlin semifinal with 2 top 10 scalps, the return to the top 30, the Wimbledon seed, and the run to the second week of a Grand Slam for the first time in her career. Strip away the individual results and the shape of the season is unmistakable. A player who struggled on her weaker surface but never fell far, then caught fire the moment the calendar turned to grass and hard courts, which happens to be exactly the surface the U.S. Open is played on. It's worth sitting with how unusual it is for a Filipino athlete to be in this position at all. Tennis has never been a mainstream sport in the Philippines the way basketball or boxing has. Facilities are limited, funding is thin, and there's no deep pipeline of the sort that produces steady streams of touring pros the way it does in countries with entrenched tennis academies. Eala's own path ran through training with family members on modest local courts before an academy scholarship abroad gave her access to higher-level coaching and competition. That backdrop is part why the reaction inside the Philippines to her results has been so outsized. Her matches are broadcast and streamed widely, watched by fans well outside the usual tennis-following demographic. And her run through Wimbledon in particular drew the kind of attention in Manila usually reserved for boxing or basketball. A seeded U.S. Open appearance would be a continuation of that, not just a ranking achievement, but a cultural one for a sport that has historically had almost no visibility in the country at the elite level. None of this means the ranking is locked in. 2 days after the Swiatek win, Eala lost in the fourth round to Jasmine Paolini in 3 sets, a tougher loss given she'd beaten Paolini earlier this year. Afterward, she said she was proud of how she competed, and that she tries to walk into every match believing she can win it. She heads home to Manila for a short break, then back out for a stretch that includes Washington and Toronto, tournaments that will decide, one way or another, whether the seed line holds. If it does, the 32-spot cutoff that no Filipino name has ever sat above in 58 years of the Open era becomes a line she's already crossed. If it doesn't, this becomes a story about how close she came. 4 August on the same court have taken her from junior champion to qualifying round loser, to first round main draw winner, to, if the ranking holds, potentially the first ever seeded Filipino at the U.S. Open. She'd likely be the first to tell you it isn't done yet, but it's worth being clear-eyed about where the line has actually moved to and how much closer she now is to crossing it than she's ever been before.